What's up, everybody? That one guy here. This video today is pretty exciting for me. Today is the 2-month anniversary of me quitting smoking. Now, this isn't the first time I've quit smoking for 2 months at a time. It's not, I'll be honest. I've made it up to 6 months before. Since I started smoking, I had one time that I made it 6 months without a cigarette. So I've still got a long ways to go to beat my personal best. But 2 months is a huge milestone for me. And I'm really confident and comfortable, and I feel like this is going to be the time that I actually take care of it and get it completely done. So today's video is just going to kind of be a little rundown of how it's going after 2 months, what I did to quit, what's worked for me, what hasn't worked for me in the past, just in case anybody else out there smokes and kind of wants to quit. These are my experiences, and yours might be very different. You know, what didn't work for me might be great for you. What works for me might not help you at all. But this is just my experiences, and hopefully it'll help somebody out there. So go ahead and stay tuned, and we are going to go over some of what's going on with me over the last 2 months. Okay guys, so like I said, it's been 2 months since I've had a cigarette or any chewing tobacco or any sort of anything like that. So how am I doing it? Well, I'll tell you, in the past I've tried patches, and I'll be honest, they just didn't do anything for me. Now, that's not to say they won't do anything for you, but for me, they did nothing. I have tried the gum, the nicotine gum. I've tried the nicotine lozenges. I've tried the little nicotine inhalers. None of that really did anything for me, and I think for me, a big part of that is because I wasn't getting the feel, you know, like I was smoking a cigarette. I didn't get that. I'm not going to say that they're better or worse. Like I said, just for me personally, they just didn't do it. I'll tell you what has worked. Vaping. I'm sure pretty much everybody knows what this is. For those of you who don't, the way it works is I put a liquid in the top here, and it's got nicotine in it and different flavorings. You can choose. There's thousands of different flavors. And then I just push the button. It turns that liquid into vapor, and I get my fix. It's way less harmful than cigarettes, and I'm not sitting here plugging vaping or anything. I'm just explaining it. It's way less harmful than cigarettes. It has way less chemicals in it. The nicotine levels are way more consistent than a cigarette. And when I breathe it out, it's like 99% regular air. So it's safer for those around me as well. Now, I would never sit there and just blow it into my kid's face or anything like that. But I do feel more comfortable, like, with them being in a closer proximity to me while I'm doing this versus when I used to smoke. Again, I've tried the gums, I've tried the lozenges. I know there's some different pills you can try, and I've tried one. It was a Chantix. I think that's what it was Chantix. And I mean, that helped with the cravings, but it also gave me very wild and vivid dreams, like uncomfortably vivid dreams. So I decided that's not going to do it for me. So this time around, I went to the local vape shop here in my town. I bought this setup. It cost me, I was smoking a pack and a half a day of cigarettes. It cost me 2 weeks worth of vaping for an entire setup. That's juice to run me for a couple weeks. That's, you know, this tank here. This is called a mod, the battery that goes inside the mod. It came with some extra coils and stuff like that. And it cost me 2 weeks worth of cigarettes, basically, is how I did the math. It came out to be, I don't remember, 160, 180, something like that. I haven't really had to replace much. I did break a glass on a tank, and of course it's hard to find just the glass, so I did buy another tank. And then of course juice, but I started making my own juice too, so we've been saving money on that. So all around I'm saving money, I'm healthier, I'm happier. I've noticed too, I have more energy. I've noticed my mood seems to level out a lot more, and I'm doing this less. So when I first started doing it, I mean, I was just constantly on this thing. And now, I mean, I still vape, don't get me wrong, but I'm doing it a lot less than I was when I first got started. So in reality, I'm working my way off of it unintentionally. It's just happening. I go 4 hours at work before I get a break. I could have never went 4 hours without a cigarette and not been grumpy. You know, I could do it, but I could have never done it and not been grumpy. And now I'm just not grumpy. I'm still kind of like when I first wake up before I get any nicotine in me, I still am grumpy then. So for about the first half hour I'm awake, I'm kind of grumpy still. But then, you know, once I get leveled out again, I'm good. And you know, maybe my kids would disagree, but I feel like that's decreasing a little bit too. The morning grumpiness is kind of decreasing as well. And maybe they disagree. Maybe they think I'm still an ass, but excuse me, but I'm working on it. And so that was what I wanted to share with you guys. This is a big milestone for me. You know, 2 months doesn't sound like much. I smoked a pack and a half of cigarettes a day for 15 years, with the exception of those couple times where I tried to quit. So, I mean, even there, you're talking 14 years of a pack and a half a day. And so when you compare that to the 2 months, it doesn't sound that promising, but it's got to start somewhere. So that's what I wanted to do with this video. I'm really excited, and I don't expect you all to be as excited as I am, but for me this is a huge deal, and I just had to share it. That app I use, I mentioned it in an earlier video. It's called Smoke Free, and you can count your cravings. You can rate them like on their intensity. What were you doing when you got your craving? It will tell you how much money you have saved thus far, how many days have been regained onto your life because you quit smoking, how long it's been since your last cigarette, and all of that sort of thing. And then you can actually get the pro version, which I believe is $4.99. So it's less than a pack of cigarettes, which is kind of a no-brainer. Less than what you would spend on one pack of cigarettes if you're trying to quit, and it gets way more detailed then. So from there, it'll start saying, okay, your circulation is back to this percentage, your teeth staining is back to this percentage, your your sense of smell and your sense of taste are back to this percentage. And so it tells you how much have you regained since you stopped. Now, admittedly, I'm at 2 months, so my stuff is pretty low still, but some of the things are way up there. That's pretty cool to me. You can add in, well, how did you do it? Well, I used lozenges. Well, I used an e-cigarette like I use, or I used whatever your means was. I chewed on gum, you know, whatever it might have been that you used for your aid, and then it kind of factors some of that stuff in, and it's awesome. And the app itself is free. Like I said, you can do the pro version for $4.99, $5, whatever, something to that effect. I just remember it was less than a pack of cigarettes. And I never smoked like great cigarettes. I always smoked knockoff brands just because I smoked a lot and they're expensive. Another thing I've noticed too is I am still getting crazy, like wild cravings. I wouldn't say crazy, like they're not super intense anymore, but they're really random and sporadic now. Like when I first stopped smoking, I was getting them, you know, anytime I'd get in the car, anytime I'd eat, anytime I'd do this, anytime I'd do that. And now I'm getting them like maybe once every few days, like real intense for a very short duration, and then they just drop off again. If you just ignore them, they go away. And it's kind of weird, honestly. Like I don't even think about cigarettes anymore, and then all of a sudden I'm like, Jesus, I gotta have a cigarette. Like, what is going on? and that's where this comes in handy, because then I can real quick take a couple puffs and it's gone. You know, it's just in my head, and I know that, and it's my brain rewiring to get rid of that dependency. And but they sneak up on you, like they come out of nowhere. I can be just, you know, having a normal conversation, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I really want a cigarette. So, but they are getting less often too, which is great. You know, that's good news. They are getting less often, but they are still happening. So I mean, we're talking maybe every 2 to 3 days. Normally I'd say every 3 days is when I'm getting one of these. And like I said, they are super intense, and they last for maybe a minute, and then they're gone. If I don't have the opportunity to take a pull on my vape, you know, now we're talking maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes, but it's just kind of like get busy, do something else real quick, and then you just forget about it. And so that's the big thing. Now cravings, like I said, they were way worse when I first started. Like I was really having a tough time, and I did not think I was going to make it past the first week or two. I have a couple friends that I went and spent a little time with, and they were super supportive about it. Neither one of them smokes cigarettes. One does smoke cigars, and he would walk right away from me so he could smoke, and I thought that was awesome. That's a good friend, you know, because we always would just stand together, and I would smoke and he would smoke, and it was the end of it. And he didn't even say anything. He just took a few steps away so it wasn't right next to me, and that helped a lot. So my advice to you guys is, if you want to quit, find whatever you think is going to help the most. And I mean, feel free to get extra stuff. Like the gum is expensive. An e-cigarette can be expensive. I mean, you can get cheaper options, but they can be expensive. The lozenges can be expensive, patches, etc. But if you compare that to what you're smoking, cigarette-wise, and you compare the cost, it's a no-brainer. Like, even if they wanted, you know, $500 for these patches, you're still going to save money, big picture. You know, it's still going to be cheaper for you to do that and not smoke, and better for you as well. And those around you, I don't know, if you have kids, like, that sticks to your clothes. And I didn't notice it. As a smoker, I never noticed that I stunk like a cigarette. I had no idea. And then when I quit, I smell it on everybody, and it is just foul. And I'm not preaching like I'm better than anybody by any means. Like I said, I smoked a pack and a half a day for 15 years. But I notice it now where I didn't before. That's all I'm commenting about. So I promise you, if you smoke, even if you smoke a quarter pack a day or something like that, you stink. I promise you, you smell. You probably don't smell it. You don't smell it in your car. I can smell it in my car now, and it's just foul. I should take up stock in air fresheners. As many air fresheners I've put in this car to try to mask that smell. But that's just where it is, you know. So I know that now. I don't smoke anymore, and I don't intend to go back. I'm really, really not intending to go back. This thing's done really well for me. I mean, I'm kind of at a point now where I need to upgrade. I want to upgrade. I don't need to upgrade. But I mean, it'll still serve its purpose. You know, even if I didn't upgrade, it's still going to do its thing. I'm just getting to where my needs are getting a little higher as far as, you know, what this thing can do. So it's a great unit. This, I guess if anybody cares, this is a Rogue 100, and it's kind of scratched up. So it's a Rogue 100 by Dovpo, I believe, D-O-V-P-O. It's a 100-watt unit, and it's got all the features like you would get in a higher end one. This would be considered like a mid-range mod. My tank is a big baby beast. I love it. I've got the rebuildable in, so save a little extra money because I can rebuild my coils rather than buy new ones. So instead of costing me $5 every 2 weeks, it costs me $1, you know, or $1.50 or whatever. It doesn't cost me much, is my point. So you can do it inexpensively. You know, you don't have to spend big bucks just to get your nicotine fix. You can do it fairly inexpensively. And this unit, again, this is more of a mid-range unit. You can get a beginner kit for $50 plus juice. You know, and for most people, that's cheaper than what they're going to smoke in a week. Well, I guess for most people anyway. For me, was definitely cheaper. But so, okay, guys, I'm gonna cut her off here. This video went a little long, so if you have any questions, comment below. I would appreciate that, and I will definitely answer them as I get them. As always, like, subscribe, share, and share your story. You know, if you quit smoking or if you're trying to quit smoking, share it. Let me know. I want to help you. I want to help you in any way I can, and I will be your support system. If you have a support system, it is so much easier to quit. So much easier. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Enjoy. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.